So for the last 3 years, I've been teaching sales or coaching sales students there. This year, I'll be co-teaching the advanced sales course. So I guess I've learned a thing or two about sales just through the college of hard knocks, being in the trenches, doing the work, and figuring out what works. And apparently it's good enough for UNM. So these are some of the kids that I've taken to this group. We went to Orlando a couple of years ago to the International Collegiate Sales Competition. And this is one of the events for networking, because it's another thing that I do with students is say, if you go into a room and you're networking, don't just stand there. Don't just stand and talk to your friends. Go get uncomfortable.
Places are great. If you're on the road, drop in. As I say, it's a great experience to do that.
Sorry, I just realized we weren't recording.
Oh, okay.
So I started that. That's true.
It's all right. Well, you missed the 15 jokes that I put into that. Okay, the key pillars. These are presentations, not pitches. So in a presentation, you're typically making a presentation to a potential investor or to a customer, and you're trying to talk them into what you have in exchange for money that they have. So you're putting your best foot forward. You're not wasting any times on the stuff that keeps you awake at night, where you're staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning, wondering how the company's going to survive. You don't discuss that, but you can discuss that here. So we're all friends here. This isn't Shark Tank. It's more like a pillow fight. So you can come in here and tell us your problems, and we will suggest solutions. We might provide introductions to important people. So those are the presentations rather than pitches. And that's what we mean by authentic connections rather than just networking. So we're run for the community, by the community. All of our volunteers, all of our organizers are volunteers. And we do that for the fields and also for some tangible benefits that have come to our individual businesses because of that. We're radically and intentionally inclusive. All kinds of people, all kinds of entrepreneurs, and all kinds of businesses are welcome. You could have a mom and pop brick and mortar shop. You could have a push cart. You could be a whiteboard company with a little bit of outside funding. You could be scaling. You could have gone all the way and you come back here to tell us how it's done. All those folks are welcome here. And we do have some ideas about how to conduct yourself here. There's a long statement here, but basically this is an educational meeting, and we'd prefer that everyone keep it polite and educational. So if you're talking to somebody who knows a lot more than you do about something, listen carefully and ask good questions. If the situation is reversed and you're the authority in that conversation, be patient, explain things as well as you can, and answer the questions carefully. And you might hear something that you sharply disagree with here. In that case, it could be a good time to take advantage of the opportunity to keep your opinion to yourself. Okay, it's easy to apply to present. Just talk to one of the organizers. We will assign a coach to you, and we will buff you up to give a 1 Million Cups presentation. That's everything it could possibly be. And it's time to thank our organizers. I am behind the dialogue thing there. I'm Paul Sauter with Equiseek. Lisa Atkins right here with Fat Pipe. Eric Renz Whitmore, he's keeping things lubricated in Santa Fe. Laura Jepson hiding right over there. And Danielle, front row. Keiko and Oscar out making people look good. And Norm Dawson and Barb Dawson. And we're going to hear more from Barb today. So Lisa has something to oh, sorry, our sponsors, my God. Fat Pipe, it's a pleasure to thank Fat Pipe, our host for what, 12 years now? And we couldn't be here without Fat Pipe, never charging us a dime. Dry heat photography, Deanna's making us look great every week. More than organized, Miriam Ortiz-Pino, to my knowledge, the only other person in the room who's had her genome sequence, and we got to talk about that. Providing creamer, but also more than organizer, organizing your stuff and your thoughts. Foundation for Sustainable Living, Franklin's not here today, but his coffee is Beyond Energy. Hey, Beyond Energy's here if coffee's not enough. Noventum Custom Software, providing software that doesn't suck, and donuts. And Minuteman Press for all your ink on paper needs. Okay, that's Franklin, our coffee sponsor. Thank you, Franklin. All right, and I'm going to hand it off to Lisa, who has something to show us, but I don't know what that is.
I want to show you.
Wow.
I'm going to provide a little training.
This is the 1 Million Cups web app. When you log in and you get to the Albuquerque community, you can also check in via this page if you don't want to use the QR code. But I wanted to show you something useful. I attended a Kaufman meeting yesterday, our our rep was there. He has them, I think, monthly or quarterly, and we all get to ask questions. And he reminded us that this was here. So if you scroll down under attend the next local event, that's where you can get the live stream for this week's presentation. And I update those by Thursday morning for the next week. But the other cool thing that you can do is you can click learn more and provide feedback to your presenter. So if you click that, and it has to be on a Wednesday, I don't know if it's during 1 Million Cups or they only open it up on Wednesday for a little bit, there's a give feedback button. You can actually click that button and provide the presenter additional feedback, or maybe if you haven't had the opportunity to say something in person or you're too shy, you can use the give feedback button to give it to her. And when her presentation is finalized, which we do after the video is edited, I go in, I give them a link to their video on YouTube. They get notification that the video is ready, and then they can read their feedback. So just an opportunity for you to provide more feedback for the presenters. I thought I'd mention that. Maybe I'll do it for a couple of weeks so we get everybody taught. All right, come on up, Danielle.
Oh, more people showed up. Good morning, everybody. All right, I am honored this morning actually to introduce our presenter. I met Barbara about a year ago, maybe a year and a half. And within maybe 2 days of knowing her and her husband, Dr. Norm, they invited me into their home, invited me over for a meal. I got to meet many of their friends. I told my story to them. She's been super helpful and supportive to me over the last year and a half. So very honored to introduce Barbara Dawson of Purple Mulch.
See, mic in the left hand, clicker in the right. We'll try this. So good morning. I am Barbara Dawson with Purple Mulch. And I'm thinking about coming today and presenting. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to say? What do I tell you in my history? What do I tell you in my story? Oh, good. I only have to talk for 6 to 10 minutes, so it should be painless. Questions is what I'm looking forward to. So Purple Mulch, I don't even, so let me start here. This was about 27 years ago. And you can see my husband Norm had hair. And we had 4 small children. And the one that's in my arms, her name is Hannah. She was born with a soft cleft palate. Now I do everything I can. I eat right. I take vitamins. I do all that stuff. And I went, okay, as moms in the room will know, what did I do wrong? So about that time, I found out that I was pregnant again with did somebody say something to me about that? What did you say, Paul? Folic acid. Yeah, well, I thought I was taking it. Apparently not enough. So anyway, I found out I was pregnant with my 4th, and I thought, oh, shoot. Not, oh, shoot, I'm pregnant. Oh, shoot, how am I going to get a healthy baby out of me? And a friend showed up and said, try these supplements that have enough folic acid in them. And so I did. Now, what I'm doing now is not direct sales, but I need to tell you this is where I started because it's where I got my experience to be doing the work I'm doing now. 27 years later, this is my family. Everybody's healthy. My son was born healthy. And during that 27 years, my husband and I built a very strong direct sales business and worked with thousands of people to help sell products, help build businesses, and all of that. And this is one of the events we went to. The kid with the glasses on the side of my husband is my 27-year-old son, now 27 years old. So this was just one of the things that we did. So a little bit about me, and then I'll get to where the shift came. So I love animals. We live in Corrales. I have a cat and a chicken in one arm. I love to do fermentation. I love to grow pickles and make them into, or love to grow cucumbers and grow them into pickles, ferment them in. I have a great garden every year, and I love making sourdough bread. So I had an opportunity a couple of years ago. I was talking to Laura. We were up at the Rio Rancho office, and she was saying, there's this lunch and learn that you could do. I said, I don't know, what do I do a lunch and learn on? we talked and talked and talked and talked, and I said, maybe I'll do it on my authentic communication course that I created for the massage therapy school. Because massage therapists, as most entrepreneurs, they go out, they get their license, and then they walk out into the world and wonder why their people aren't banging on their door to get in and get a massage. So I created this authentic communication course. I came here and I did a lunch and learn. And it was great. There were probably 14, 15 people in the room. It was fun. I felt like I was really contributing to what people had. And then I got an opportunity with the University of New Mexico. The man that leads the program in the sales center through Anderson School of Management reached out to me and said, well, I actually reached out to him. I said, I understand you have a sales program at UNM. I had no idea. Maybe I should take some sales courses. So we sat down to lunch or coffee. And after we finished coffee, he said to me, how would you like to coach our students to go to the international collegiate sales competitions? I went, wow, that sounds like fun. Sure, I'll do that. So for the last 3 years, I've been teaching sales or coaching sales students there. This year, I'll be co-teaching the advanced sales course. So I guess I've learned a thing or two about sales just through the college of hard knocks, being in the trenches, doing the work, and figuring out what works. And apparently it's good enough for UNM. So these are some of the kids that I've taken to this group. We went to Orlando a couple of years ago to the International Collegiate Sales Competition. And this is one of the events for networking, because it's another thing that I do with students is say, if you go into a room and you're networking, don't just stand there. Don't just stand and talk to your friends. Go get uncomfortable and go talk to a stranger, because everybody in the room is uncomfortable. We all are. So those two things were a huge opportunity for me. This is what I do. I support heart-centered entrepreneurs who want to fast forward their sales skills so that they can make money doing what they're truly passionate about. I don't think any of us get into our own business and go, oh, I can't wait to start selling. In fact, in a room, I'll how many of you love to sell? A couple. Wow, good. Maybe a 5 out of the room, maybe 6. You don't hate it, but most people say, I don't want to be a salesperson. No, that's like a bad word. But I want to help people fast forward their sales experience, their knowledge, so that they can go out and do what they want to do, sell kits to horse owners, support people through the death process, sell great products in their tiny farm, whatever. That's what we want to do. So my authentic communication through the sales cycle, I do in-person workshops. I will do virtual workshops, and I'll also do one-on-one coaching. In fact, I'm just finishing up a 6-week program right now. So I've taken the authentic communication and really moved it through rapport, discovery, presentation, closing the deal, handling objections, and making long-term customers. So I create authentic communication through that. The other thing that I do is I do authentic communication to organizations. In fact, right now I'm working on a contract with a not-for-profit organization where they've got 32 people in the office, and some are remote, some are present, some are, anywhere. So I'm putting together a presentation for them so that I can go in and help them do a better job of communicating with each other, helping eliminate some of the how we get sometimes, we talk to one another and we think, oh, I think you said that. And I walk away and you said, oh my gosh, you didn't even hear me. Okay, so that's what I do in organizations as well. I've done that with small companies. I've done it with some larger companies. And so that's how I make money in this business. My challenge is, I don't like to market. And yet I have to market. The nice thing about working on contract with the university, I don't have to fill the classes. Somebody else does that. But so marketing is one of my challenges. I've done more and more through LinkedIn. I spend more time on LinkedIn now doing that area of social media. I also am looking at how do I scale my business? Because right now it's me. I go out and I do this work. I've thought about, do I put something on, take videos and maybe have Oscar and Kikoa do videos of me doing my presentations, create a website that has those so I can sell that information to other people, here, get a link to my site. And then also, how do I make it recurring? I've lived on recurring income most of my life, and it's a really sweet thing. How do I make this business recurring? And that may be, how do I get things going online when I'm not touching them? So those are my challenges. And whoops, questions? That's actually my backyard. Just thought we'd lighten it up. Oh, good, questions.
I'm just gonna give the drill, so make sure when you come up, please introduce yourself and hold the mic where we can all hear you.
Oh, I thought you were
No,
going first.
No.
All right.
Just wanted to say the thing.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Some people know me. If you don't, my name's John Patrick. I have a few entrepreneurial things going on, Enchanted Lands Music and Amazing Life Wellness. And I've known Barbara for, I guess, about a year. And I went to your first thing at the STEM, and I just want to say how amazing you are, and I love you. And you're most welcome. So I guess the offering that I have in how to help is that I'm meeting all these amazing women that are doing these podcastings for their little businesses. And they're really picking up a lot of steam. And I was just at my friend Siobhan's yesterday, and she was showing me all this stuff on TikTok. And I know that us older people are kind of like the technology and, but I really feel that if you want to get out there into the world, you can do a YouTube channel, get TikTok, and get some of your graduates to maybe come in and intern and help you. I don't know, what do you think about that?
So what I hear you saying is I could create a channel. I don't know if you're talking YouTube or both
Yeah,
YouTube and TikTok, maybe if they do channels. See, I don't do
Yeah, they
anything
do.
with TikTok. And create a channel there where then I have guests come in and speak about the work I do and how it's influenced them. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you could have the guests, but you can just do like little 1 minute like the authentic thing for the day or for the week. And I don't know, it's amazing how many young people are monetizing and doing businesses without going to college.
Yeah.
Like if you just kind of observe what's going on in the world, and you've got all this education and wisdom, and I know it's a lot of work, so you have to get someone to help you, but
Yeah, I agree. And these young people, it's like they were born with a cell phone in their mouth, Some of us are born with a silver spoon, but they were born with a cell phone. And to get some help.
And lastly, I want to say the workshop's amazing. So if you haven't done it, race over to the next one and do it. It'll change your whole philosophy on your business. Thank you.
Thank you so much, JP. I appreciate you.
We have a question from Aaron online.
Okay, go ahead, Erin.
What was that bird next to your cat?
That's a peacock. That peacock has been showing up every spring. This year, he hasn't shown up. I'm so
Oh.
disappointed. Yeah,
That was
Was
my
there any-
question.
that was it. Yeah, that's a peacock. I should have brought a picture with him in full plume, but well. Okay, no. I think you're on. Yes.
Oh,
Happen to be related.
we hope you
I'm
are.
the only one that gets to do this.
And he's got a question for me.
I do.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Norm with drnormsconnections.com. I'm in the dementia defense business. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about here today. Great presentation. You had wonderful slides, and whoever your coach was, it should be applauded. The question I had for you, because you brought it up, and that was, you said that you've learned sales and all that stuff through the School of Hard Knocks, which I know is true. But I know that we've both taken a lot of self-development, personal growth, and sales seminars. Can you share a couple of those seminars and sales courses and things like that you've taken? Because I know you've gotten a lot of knowledge from that. It's just not from the School of Hard Knocks.
That's true. I tend to forget those other things, but have anybody ever hear of Sandler? Yeah. So I've done Sandler training. We got a year-long training experience with them. I read a book called You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike in a Workshop. It's a great book on sales, which really talks about, you know, the cycle of sales. And I find that when I'm doing sales, if I will remember, I'm in this section of the process. Because my experience with entrepreneurs in the world is that they go into a networking event and they just launch. And most of us have about a 45-second tolerance. And then we want to get away. We want you to be quiet. We want you to, so that then I can talk. And Sandler and what's that? And Landmark Forum also great information on communication. I had a friend of mine years ago, because I'm a good listener. I didn't add this to my story, but when Norman and I first met 45 years ago, I was a sign language interpreter at the University of New Mexico. He was deaf. I learned to listen really well because an interpreter, the words came in, the words went out as fast as I could get them. And I had a friend of mine one time saying, why are you taking another course on listening? I said, because you know, when you do something well, you find ways to do it even better. So that's what I've done with sales as well. But again, sometimes it was this, I didn't know what I was good at. Okay. Miriam.
Good morning, Barb. Miriam Ortiz, you know, More Than Organized, a little business here in town. And one of the things that is so interesting is the difference between sales and marketing.
Mm-hmm.
When you're great at sales and you hate marketing,
Mm-hmm.
been there.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you've thought about what you want your business to be, first of all, and then how to highlight sales, like JP said, via social media, so that you use the sales strengths you have to market in general. Have you thought about that?
So I'm going to ask you a question back. When you say what I want my business to be,
Right.
give me some more what you think.
What kind of revenue are you wanting to generate? I know you said you want some reoccurring. How much do you want to be working these days? You have so many other things you do. So all of those things play into how to scale for yourself. So I'm just wondering if you've thought that part through.
I have thought through how much money do I want to make?
Mhm.
Last year it was kind of like, oh yeah, if I pull this out of this business, that would be good. And I hit it. You know, it was just like, it wasn't sitting down and analyzing the numbers. It was just, that's a good number.
Mhm.
I've done that again this year.
So are you wanting to grow more? Do you want to maintain that level with a little bit of growth? I mean, because as a solopreneur as well, it's hard to know when to bring people on if you don't want to complicate things and you want to keep it simple.
Yeah.
And so there's ways to package services that allow you to have revenue growth without complicating things, or to complicate things and get even more. So you need to be really clear on how big you want it.
So one of the things I can say for sure is I love doing the workshops that I'm doing. When I'm there, I could do those all day long, every day. I just absolutely love it. I would like to get a few more people. The last two, the student has been about 6, 7 in the class.
Mhm.
And right now where I am, I'm going, that's okay. I'll give. I'll even say I'll do one-on-ones. I would like to do more of those every year.
Okay.
And also put together an advanced course for people that have gone through my first course. So those two things I know. So that's part of the scaling.
Mhm.
But again, where I get hung up is in the marketing. And how do when I'm one-on-one with people in conversations, I do great.
Mhm.
But it's like, how do I do the social media thing?
Cool. We should talk about packaging it so you can use your sales to do it in the workshops to get more consistent clients.
Thank you. Yeah, and in my other areas, yeah, I mean, if I've got an organization pulling 32 people in a room, okay, great. This is fun. Yes.
I'm Daniel with Paterno Group Branding and Marketing, and I just had a comment in terms of scaling, something that might be a way for you to dip your toe into the pool of scaling. I'm sure you have a deck or something that you use for your presentations, or maybe not. I'm just thinking if there's something that you have that can be repurposed or maybe pumped up, and then it's an online sales, you know, I mean, I would love to buy, you know, sort of your information as sort of a first level, you know, before the videos, before the workshops.
So what, and your name again?
Daniel,
Daniel, so what I think you're saying to me is if I could take all the things that I do and put it into some sort of a brochure or a workbook or
yeah,
something,
workbook.
a workbook.
Yeah, I was thinking if you had like a PowerPoint deck or something that you already use for a presentation, you know, I'm always kind of thinking of repurposing something you already have. And then maybe just pump it up, maybe make it, you know, fill in the gaps so that you don't have to be there explaining stuff. And then that could be something sellable online.
Okay, yeah, I do have a keynote
Right.
PowerPoint that I use. And so what I think I'm hearing you say is take that, put it into a PDF and then let people use that. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, that, but kind of expand on it. So
Okay.
it doesn't seem like it needs you there. So that doesn't seem like it needs you there also to fill in the spots. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you're saying fill in the gaps so that if someone picks it up and reads it, they can go, oh, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, and that makes sense. And
Yes,
I do that, okay. Oh, but I don't do this, so let me,
right,
that's what you're saying. And
Exactly.
then that's like a first step in.
exactly. Right, because you can, you know, have a landing page, you know, a sales page and recurring and, you know, something that's kind of evergreen too, you know, just to kind of get started, get a feel for how to scale, how to expand.
Thank you, Daniel.
Sure.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good.
Steve Cuomo, I do Beyond Energy, but also produce Santa Fe Fashion Week. So I think scaling is just like a huge undertaking, but when you said Sandler, that kind of rang a bell because a friend of mine was a sales rep for Sandler. And so what I was thinking is you have the credentials to be a sales coach or an accountability coach. And you have so many different salespeople, from solar salesman to roof salesman to car salesman, stuff like that. So maybe doing that, taking on some clients and then coaching those people, then word of mouth locally. You can make it more clients like that, and that might be. And then I'm 60 years old and I do like fashion news in a minute. It's not that difficult. And that way you become a thought leader in your field. So people see that and then maybe they want to fly you to a different city to have them coach their people. But I would think more locally, just being a sales coach to help individuals.
And I think what I heard you say is go to, if I were to reach out to solar people or car people or other people that have sales teams
Right.
and position myself with them
Exactly.
as a sales coach for their people.
Exactly. You got it.
Thank you. Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Deanna Vincent with Dry Heat Photography, and I just had kind of an idea or a slightly different spin on Dan's idea, which is a great idea. So you could sell that, like, you know, expand on all the bullet points and have that as a thing that's for sale. But another thing you could do is you could make that your freemium, which is available on your website in exchange for, like, as a free download in exchange for their email address. And then you build your list that way so that you can then work on your email marketing and, you know, drive traffic to your YouTube channels and everywhere else. So that could be like a really easy way to build your list pretty fast.
Yeah, so to have it as a landing page or a freebie that they get to my website, they see it and they click on it, download it, but to do the download, they have to give me their name. Yeah, because the only thing that we own is our email list.
That's right.
We don't know if Facebook, LinkedIn, or anybody else is gonna go away.
You don't own your social media.
We don't own our social media. No. Okay, thank you so much. Hello.
There. Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Moser. I'm the Sacred Patterns Acupuncture. So I got a couple of thoughts. So be patient with me.
Okay. It's my middle name.
Thanks. First thing, so you mentioned that you're a teacher at UNM, right? So I know not always, but sometimes, oftentimes that professors will write books that are required for that class. So that could be a source of revenue that your students are required to buy your textbook. So I think a textbook, creating a book is one route. Amazon is basically a one-stop shop these days. So you can publish everything through them, print, et cetera, et cetera. So book sales could be recurring revenue for you. Then you could go out and try and persuade other professors to use that as a textbook, and that becomes recurring revenue. Another thought is online teaching course. It's called Teachable. So you create a course on there, and that could be, so that's a digital form that people can buy rather than straight through. I mean, you can have it on your website as well, but Teachable is a platform that you can that people go to find things to learn. And then I was trying to think of like different structures of how you can approach clients, maybe instead of like a cost per class or something like that. Maybe you do it on specific cases that you get a good feeling of, rather than charging them up front. So you're going to say, well, I'm going to take a percentage of your increased sales this quarter or something like that. Would be a back end way to try and get some revenue. So there's a lot to chew on there. Just thoughts. Thanks.
Okay, so I appreciate you saying maybe write a book.
Yeah.
Get on Teachable.
Yeah.
And then also look at taking a percentage of what they earn as a result of the work that they're doing with me.
And also another thought is, I mean, if you find a company that's really at the early stages that you believe in, if there's some way you can take an equity stake in them, I mean, that requires revenue, but I mean, that would be a good way to potentially make money in the future as well.
Okay, so then also contribute to a startup and.
If it makes sense.
Okay, if it makes sense. Okay, well, thank you. Appreciate your suggestions. JJ.
Good morning, I'm JJ with Johnson Brothers Tiny Farm. I'm listening to you speak. I've benefited greatly from both your friendship and your coaching. The Johnson Brothers are my three young boys. They're part of my sales force. I was wondering, do you think that that what you're teaching would translate to any age? I mean, obviously you're teaching to college. I know that you were a homeschool mom.
Yes.
I know that there are a lot of homeschool moms who want their kids to get that kind of education. Would you consider doing younger age presentations to a group of homeschool families? Or
Yes, absolutely, JJ. I would love to work with kids. I like to work with people of all ages. In fact, this summer I've been doing a couple of things with CNM, working with a couple of charter schools in the South Valley. And the first one, that was 3 different groups of kids, high schoolers, they were all seniors. And I don't know if anybody knows anything about South Valley Academy. They're a charter school. And one of the things that those seniors have to do is do a presentation at the end of the year. What is their project? It could be homelessness, it could be water, it could be whatever is up for them. And so I got to go in and spend 4 hours with 3 different groups talking about how to do a presentation so that people will get it. They'll get you. So yeah, I've done that with high schoolers, did another one actually on financial literacy for another group. So yeah, I would love to work with homeschoolers and get kids at a very early age to learn how to communicate. Because I think what we push is we push the talking. We don't push the asking questions and listening and making sure we're understanding at all ages. So yeah, I would love that. If you've got any groups.
yeah, I'd like to do a little bit of marketing for you in that
Okay.
in that regard. I have a few places in mind. maybe we could talk about fee structure and what that would look like.
JJ, I'd love to work with you on that.
Great.
Danielle.
I'm back, sorry. Danielle with Conscious Crossroads, end of life services. I deal with a lot of things in the medical community. And lots of people in the medical community could use help with their communication skills. And you're already at UNM, and I'm wondering if you can use somehow your contacts there to leverage getting into the School of Medicine and Nursing and do some work with them before they get out there and start talking to patients.
Like teaching a doctor to listen.
I mean, I'm giving you a big task. But if you get them before they're doctors, you might have a yes. So that's my suggestion.
That's a great idea. I've never thought about going to like UNM Hospital or other hospitals and presenting an authentic communication course. My daughter, as you know, is an RN and she's at Rush Hospital in Chicago. And she's been ICU COVID for the last 5 years. And it's tough. It's tough. One, and if I may share this, someone passed. And I was like, okay, time to death, and out they ran. And my daughter goes, whoa, could we take a moment and just be here? Yeah, so that kind of communication in all areas where someone's getting discharged or just the way they communicate. Yeah, I would love to work with the hospitals. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Any other
Anybody
questions?
online?
Sometimes I get the question, why purple mulch? We rebranded our business years ago. We were originally balancing life and work because I was a homeschooled mom, raising 4 kids. My husband was running his chiropractic office and all that stuff. And then the kids grew up and it was like, okay, now what are we called? And so purple mulch, I'm a gardener and I like the color purple. But here in New Mexico, when you mulch the ground, it protects the plants and they get to grow more healthy. They keep their feet cool. And so when I work with people, that's how I visualize I work with them, is I'm mulching them. Embracing some mulch.
I love that.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so then. So our final 2 questions is, what is the one thing that this community can do for you today?
If you know of a real easy way to do social marketing, social media marketing, and that would be great for me. Also, I love your ideas about books and things to put on my website. I know I've got to redo my website also in that process. And if you've got groups of people that, in fact, when I did the presentation here, I had several people in the room that said, can you come to my organization and do this? And I went, sure. So if you haven't done a lunch and learn here, just note to y'all, it's a great place to build the relationship.
Okay, and then final question, red or green?
Green.
Yeah. Good call.
Thank you all.
I do have a couple of events. All right, if you would like a copy of this sheet of paper, which has links that you can register for some of these events, you can email me at lisa@fatpipeabq.com and I will reply with this as an attachment. This is cool. Do you guys remember last year, Global Ties, they bring their fellows around a couple times a year and some of them present here at 1 Million Cups. Well, they had a fellow last summer named Miriam Torsian. She created an app called Safe View, and she actually sold it to someone here in Albuquerque, and they're doing a bunch of events related to her kickoff of the app. I don't know if it was the city or who bought it, but it's an app that uses a life-saving tech to tackle violence against women and empower women through an ecosystem of support. I remember she demoed it. I don't know if she demoed it here at 1 Million Cups or if I was there, because I went and judged some of their presentations. Yeah, did she just talk about it? But she was amazing. And if you want to learn more, apparently they're kicking it off. I guess it's statewide, so maybe the state paid for it. And they're having a reception at the Crown Plaza on June 15th from 4 to 7. And I have a link where you can register for that. Deanna Vincent, I'm talking about, having workshops here at Fat Pipe. She's doing one called Things to Do Before Taking Your New Business Out in Public. So all the basics that we need to be able to share our business with others. And then we all know Urban Mama 505. She has an open mic night that she asked me to share with comedy, storytelling, poetry, music. It's every Saturday, and she says just show up at 4:30. So if you're interested in that. Of course, early bird tickets are on sale for NMTC's Tech Summit. It'll be held at September 10th at the Clyde Hotel. And last year there was over 600 attendees. So this is a really, really good, and 45 breakout sessions, lots of speakers on all different kinds of topics. So that is worth attending. Maybe I'll get someone from 1 Million Cups to present on it in coming weeks. And then Catharsis Media. I actually got an email from Catharsis yesterday. They have run out of funding, so they will no longer be videotaping our sessions unless we can find a sponsor. He asked if we could start paying them. I think he said it was $100 a week. We don't have any money. Kaufman doesn't provide us with any funds. So the only way that we would be able to take that on is a sponsorship. If anybody's interested in sponsoring, I would go out and see how hard it is to even find our events. Because I tried once and gave up. But yeah, they really need a revamp of their website. Maybe that's why they had budget cuts, because nobody can find. Well, yeah.
What do you do with those videos? For them to have it on the show, or you need just for your social media?
So we don't do anything with Catharsis videos. They come with their own cameras, they record, they edit, and then they make a 52-minute segment out of them, and they play them on their Comcast channel. And then you can also apparently watch them online via their online channels.
But they're not searchable.
Their TV guide is not searchable, so they are very difficult to find. And so you would just have to know the day that they were on TV, but now I guess they're not on TV anymore. So that's a shame, because I think it would have been really great for, to get the word out about 1 Million Cups and for all of your businesses as well to be showcased on TV. But we can't go forward with them unless we find a sponsor. So if you need more details, let me know. I told Kyle I would do what I can do, but it's probably a no. Let's see, I think there's some newbies. I think Lip Garcia, I'm calling you out because I know that you've applied to present. Would you like to unmute yourself and tell us who you are and how you heard about 1 Million Cups? If you can hear me. Well, you did the one thing that you have to do before you present, and that's come to a session. So we really like you to come at least once, and he's done that. There he goes. Hi, Flip. We can't hear you if you're talking. Hopefully he can present here in person. Oh, he is there. Well, I think Barbara's going to take the lead on that one. Are you the one communicating with him? I think so. Yeah. So Barbara will take the lead on that and get him engaged. Also, the founder of the energy drink that you guys are drinking, Dr. Andy is his name. He came by, visited the Bioscience Center, and Fat Pipe gave us some drinks to share with members. And he's going to try and fill our June 26th spot. So I'm going to fast track him for June 26th. And he did apply this morning, so we're good. No need to call him. Anybody else new that want to introduce themselves? Have you ever been here before? You have? Okay. Anybody else new in person? How about online? Bernina, have you been here before? Or Casey?
I've only been here like
pre-COVID. Yeah.
Welcome back. Tell us what you do, Bernina.
I run my own little digital firm called Indigitize. We handle websites, mobile applications, digital media, branding, and also we're expanding into consultations for business development here in New Mexico.
Sounds great. We'd love to have you present sometime. You should apply.
Thank you.
How about Casey? Would you like to introduce yourself, Casey? No mic right now. Okay, great. Anybody else? Anybody else have an event they want to share? All right, come on up.
Hi, everyone. Brooke with Deaf Doula Professionals. And we have a new event at our office called Mortality Movie Mondays. So we get together as a group, we watch a movie that relates to mortality, and then we discuss it. It's not as scary as it sounds. We actually laugh a lot, have a good cry, usually. But we'd like for anybody who wants to attend, you can RSVP. The next event is on the 24th. And it's on our if you'll email Danielle, we have limited space, but we'd love to have some new faces there if you wouldn't mind doing that. And then End of Life Options New Mexico has asked us to do their free webinar, just talk about, or the free workshop. And it's on advanced healthcare directives. So if you haven't done it, this is a good way to be in a group and kind of learn about what you need to do without feeling singled out on it. And that's on July 13th from 10 to 11:30. At Esther Bone Memorial Library in Rio Rancho.
That one's free.
This one is free. Yes. Thank you.
Come on up, Franklin.
Hi, everybody. Tomorrow, City of Albuquerque puts on a lot of music events. I'm not connected to this artist, but I've seen her perform at the Albuquerque Folk Festival. And she received some entertainer awards, New Mexico Entertainer Awards. Tomorrow, Rodolfo Anaya Library on North 2nd Street, Laura Manzanares. And you can Google her, and she's somebody back there smiling. You know her? I've heard her. Yeah, she's a great singer, and it's folk, New Mexican. Anyway. That's where I'll be at 5 to 6 tomorrow. If you're missing me, didn't get enough of me today, but Laura, go to see Laura. And anyway, good music.
All right. Got something? Shakespeare
Yes.
in the park.
Just going to remind everybody that the New Mexico Shakespeare Festival will continue for 3 more weeks. Merry Wives of Windsor will be at the Old Town Gazebo this Thursday. It'll be kind of like theater meets NASCAR because we've never been on this stage before. So if you want to see some mishaps, this could be and then next Thursday and the following Thursday, Merry Wives will be at Winrock's new stage, which is beautiful if you haven't been out there to drive around. And Saturday nights we'll be at the New Mexico Memorial Park at Louisiana and Gibson. And Fridays and Sundays is the Tempest. Sunday's performance of the Tempest got canceled because of the tempest. So that does happen when you're outdoors. And thank you.
What time?
Shows start at 7:30, pardon? I will be next at the Old Town Gazebo.
Tomorrow.
It's tomorrow night. Yes.
Are you
What,
at all?
what time?
Pardon?
Are you at all of these? Do you perform in all of these shows?
There's 2 shows. I only perform in one. There's 2 different casts. You know, that would be really hard.
Wow.
Could you give us a couple of lines?
Sure, thanks for asking. I have to do this now. Have I lived to be carried in a basket like a barrel of butcher's offal, and to be thrown into the Thames? 'Tis blood the rogue slighted me into the river, and you may know by my size I have a kind of alacrity in sinking.
Anybody else?
Okay, now I have to follow Shakespeare. That's not fair. That is not fair. Okay, so yeah, go on out and see that. The Tempest is my favorite Shakespeare play. Okay, it depends on my mood. It's that or Macbeth, right? It's kind of bipolar that way. So, you know, part of my job is to give you the good news. And I heard an amazing piece of news this morning that I want to share with you. So, how many people know that the sex ratio at undergraduate institutions has been changing sharply over the past few years? Did you raise your hand? Yes? And what are we short of? Men, right? So it's 41% of undergraduates right now are men. And that's the lowest it's been in decades. So there's a university, and why is this? So of course, since they're academics, they just study the problem. And it turns out that a lot of guys getting out of high school say, I can get a job and make a lot of money if I go to trade school or I start my own business, or I don't need this book learning from a bunch of, you know, guys stroking their beards, they're bald, you know. So a university in Vermont, yeah, exactly. A university in Vermont decided, like, let's find out what young men are actually interested in. Why would they forego the trades or forego starting their own business and come to college where they could get book learning? And the answer is entrepreneurship. So this university in Vermont held a pitch competition for high school students. And the winners of the pitch competition get a full ride.
Wow.
So the way to go to college for nothing is not to risk CTE by becoming a football player, but you could actually be an entrepreneur and have your first failure at a dude ranch where someone is there to help you pick up your doggies and get back on your feet and do another company, right? So I take that as a very positive sign. So if you're working on your companies right now, you better get in shape because there are people graduating in a few years that are going to be able to kick your ass. So let's get out there and get to work. Not so much talking today, get out there and get back to work. All right, see you next Wednesday.